She smiled at you, but it wasn't just a smile. It was the kind of smile that lingered, like she was imagining something. You probably thought she was just being polite. But what if I told you that in that moment, you accidentally triggered a hidden fantasy she's been keeping buried? Like when she brushed her hair back as you walked by, or when her eyes darted to your lips for just a second. Was it innocent or intentional? You've been walking through these moments blind, but today you'll finally see them. And more importantly, you'll learn to create them. If you've ever wondered whether you were already inside her mind, drop a in the comments. Stick around till the end. The last one changes everything. You probably never even saw it. The way. Her eyes lingered just a little longer than they should have. The pause before she looked away. You thought she was just zoning out, right? Lost in thought, maybe checking something behind you. But no, in that moment, she was seeing something. You. And not just you as you are, but you as a possibility. It's a strange thing to realize that you might already be inside someone's mind without even trying. That, at some random moment, in a hallway, at a party, in the middle of a group chat, she imagined something about you. A glance turned into a scene. A smirk became a storyline. That casual confidence you didn't even notice? That was the trigger. That was the seed planted in her subconscious. And from there, her imagination did the rest. Most guys think female desire is loud and obvious. But the truth, it's quiet. It simmers. It builds in stolen seconds and imagined scenarios. And here's the twist. Most of the time, you don't do anything special. You're just existing in a moment where your energy, your presence, your vibe is aligned with something she's already looking for. Think about it. You're at a coffee shop. You glance at her, not for long, just enough to register her presence. You go back to your laptop, earbuds in, locked in your world. She notices that, the confidence, the subtle disinterest, the way you didn't perform for her, didn't try to be seen. That's the first moment. And maybe an hour later, she's still thinking about you, wondering what you're listening to, what your life looks like outside this tiny shared orbit. It happens in conversations too. You say something, not flirtatious, not obvious, but with a tone that says you're sure of yourself. You look at her, steady, not chasing approval, and then you pause. You let silence breathe. You hold the moment just a second too long. That's when her fantasy starts writing itself. You think she's just being polite. You think she's talking to you because you're convenient or because she's bored. But here's what's really going on. She's collecting details. The way your voice dips when you're serious. The way you laugh at your own jokes. The scar on your knuckle. The mystery of what you don't say. You've probably already been the main character in someone's story. Maybe it was just for a day. Maybe it was a week. Maybe it was just 10 seconds in a hallway. But that unspoken desire, it's real. You just never saw it. Until now. So next time she lingers a little too long in conversation, don't rush it. Don't try to fill the silence. Just hold her gaze. Let her mind do the rest. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. There's something magnetic about a man who doesn't give it all away. A man who, with just a glance, can leave her wondering. And here's the truth most men never grasp. Predictability is the death of attraction. You can be handsome, charming, successful, but if she can read you like an open book from the first page, you'll never touch her emotional fantasies. Women crave a sense of mystery. Not because they're playing games, but because their attraction is tied to curiosity, to not knowing exactly what you'll do next. It's the same reason they binge-watch shows that drip-feed just enough suspense to keep them hooked episode after episode. And you? You can be that story. Imagine this. You're at a mutual friend's house, a party where conversations drift in and out like smoke. She asks you about something, Your job, your travels, some random topic. You answer, but not fully. You give her just enough to spark a question in her mind. You smile, that quiet, knowing smile, and say, "That's a long story for another time." Then you glance away, casually sipping your drink, shifting the energy. In that moment, she's hooked. Why? Because you didn't beg for her attention. You didn't dump your life story onto the table. You stayed slightly out of reach, like a puzzle with just one missing piece. Here's the key. It's not about being distant or cold. It's about knowing when to pull back. When to let her chase the thread of the conversation herself. When to leave spaces in your words for her imagination to fill. Most guys, they overshare. They talk too much, trying to impress. But you'll do something different. You'll embrace the mystery. Because women fantasize not about what they know, but about what they don't. She go home that night thinking about you, replaying that unfinished sentence, wondering what you meant when you said, "That's a story for another time." And the more she thinks about it, the deeper that fantasy grows. You become the unanswered question in her mind, the chapter she hasn't finished yet. And every time she sees you again, that curiosity reignites. That spark flickers back to life, Dawn. So here's your move. Next time you're telling her a story, stop at 80%. Smile like you know something she doesn't. Then pull back. Shift your gaze. Let her lean in, wondering what you're not saying. Because the greatest stories are the ones that leave her wanting more. There's something ancient, almost primal, about the way women respond to a man who makes them feel safe. Not just physically, but emotionally too. It's wired deep, far beyond words or logic. And here's the part most guys completely miss. It doesn't take grand gestures or over-the-top heroics. In fact, it's the subtle, almost unnoticed moments of leadership that tap into this fantasy, the deepest. Picture this. You're walking down a busy street together, weaving through the crowd. Without thinking, you place your hand lightly on the small of her back, guiding her gently to your side as someone brushes too close. You didn't make a show of it. You didn't say anything. But you took control of the moment. She felt it. That subconscious shift from "I'm walking next to him" to "I'm being led by him." That's the protector frame in action. And it's not just about danger or physical safety, though that certainly plays a role. It's about making decisions with quiet confidence. It's about being the man who notices the details, the man who acts without hesitation when the situation calls for it. You probably thought leading was about being loud, assertive, dominant in every room. But here's what's really happening in her mind. She's watching for the man who can step forward at the right moment. Not every moment. Let's take another scene. You're out with friends, and plans start getting chaotic. No one knows where to eat, where to go next. Most guys shrug and wait for someone else to decide. But you lean back, scan the group, then calmly say, "Let's head to this spot nearby. Trust me, it's solid." You don't argue. You don't plead. You just lead. And the moment you do, she feels it. That surge of safety, of direction. It's subtle, but inside her mind, she's registering this. This is the kind of man I can follow. And the fantasy builds from there. She pictures herself leaning into your chest on a rainy night, trusting you'll guide her home. She imagines the calm you bring in stressful moments. And yes, she starts weaving you into those quiet daydreams of partnership, protection, and passion. So here's your practical move. In any moment of uncertainty, step in. Guide her physically when it makes sense. Lead decisions without over-explaining. Offer your hand. Guide her path. And do it with quiet confidence. Because sometimes the most irresistible men are the ones who make her feel she can let go. There's this quiet magic that happens when someone just gets you, when they don't just listen to your words, but seem to feel what you feel almost before you do. That's the emotional mirror, and it's one of the most powerful ways to slip into her emotional fantasies without her even realizing it. Most guys think attraction is built by showing off, by impressing her, making her laugh, or proving themselves. But what she truly craves is connection. And connection doesn't come from showing your world. It comes from stepping into hers. Imagine this. You're sitting across from her at some late-night diner, neon lights flickering outside. She's talking about something funny that happened earlier, laughing nervously, eyes lighting up as she tells the story. You smile too, chuckling softly, but not just to match her. You're watching her closely. You let your laughter fade. A second before hers does. And then, in the quiet that follows, you tilt your head slightly, gaze steady, and say in a low voice, "That actually meant a lot to you, didn't it?" She freezes. You just saw her, really saw her. That's what women long for in their deepest emotional fantasies. To be seen and felt fully, without needing to explain themselves. And here's the twist. It's not about parroting her words or playing therapist. It's about mirroring her energy, then gently guiding it. If she's playful, you're playful, but just a touch calmer, a touch more grounded. If she's vulnerable, you match her softness, then add just enough strength. To hold space for her, let's break it down even further. She's smiling? You smile back, but hold it just a second longer than she does. Then let it fade naturally. She's speaking quickly, excited. You let her set the pace. But as the conversation deepens, you slow your tone, inviting her to meet you there. This subtle mirroring triggers something deep inside her. It tells her you're attuned, locked in, fully present. Then it creates this emotional echo chamber where her feelings bounce back amplified, wrapped in your calm, steady energy. Suddenly, you're not just the guy she's talking to. You're the one who gets her. The one who sees her in a way others can't. So next time you notice her mood shifting, lean into it. Mirror her tone, her tempo, her emotion, then slowly lead it towards something deeper. Let silence hang where it needs to. Let the moment breathe, because when she feels that connection, her imagination starts painting pictures of what else you might understand about her. Every woman, no matter how composed, how polite, or how sweet, carries secret fantasies she doesn't talk about. Fantasies that swirl around danger, tension, and the thrill of breaking the rules, even if it's just in her mind. And here's what most men never understand. You don't have to be reckless or crude to tap into this side of her. You just need to know how to flirt with the forbiddens, to dance on that razor's edge where curiosity and danger meet. It's late, and you're both at a crowded gathering, music humming low in the background, everyone else distracted by their own little dramas. You lean in slightly, your words low and close, just for her. As you speak, your lips brush lightly against the shell of her ear. Barely noticeable, but unmistakable. A subtle touch that sends a shiver right down her spine. You pull back with a teasing smirk, as if nothing happened. She laughs nervously, unsure whether to call it out or let it hang in the air. That's the moment. That precise moment where her mind begins racing, running faster than even she realizes. Here's what's happening inside her. She's suddenly aware of every point of contact between you, the inches between your shoulders, the heat from your skin. And because you didn't apologize or even acknowledge it, you've injected a quiet boldness into the space between you. Most men stay safe. They keep it polite, surface level, afraid to make her uncomfortable. And yes, respect is non-negotiable. But here's the nuance that separates boys from men. The most magnetic men know how to tease at those boundaries without crossing them. They know how to make her wonder, was that accidental? Or was it deliberate? They know that it's not about what happens. It's about what could. Let's say you're exchanging playful banter, throwing sarcastic remarks back and forth. You lean in, eyes locked on hers, and say, "Careful. Keep talking like that, and I might just have to shut you up." Then you pause, not moving, just letting the weight of the words settle before pulling away casually and laughing it off. Her heart's racing now. Her mind? It's working overtime, filling in the blanks. This is the forbidden allure in action. It's the subtle suggestion that there's more under the surface, something neither of you can fully say out loud, but both of you feel. It's playful, it's bold, and it drives her imagination wild. So here's your action step. Next time you're sharing a secret or playful comment, lean in just enough that your breath brushes her ear. Lower your voice. Let your words carry a double meaning, something innocent on the surface, but charged underneath. Because when you master this art of teasing at the unspoken, you won't just be the guy she flirts with. You'll be the guy she can't stop thinking about when the lights go out. Some men simply exist in a woman's life. Others, they live in her mind, long after they've left the room. And almost every guy underestimates just how powerful it is to become that man. The one who doesn't just engage her in the present, but pulls her into an entirely different world. A world where she can lose herself. A world where everything feels electric, adventurous, and slightly unreal. This isn't about expensive vacations or elaborate plans. It's about imagination. It's about becoming the man who stirs up her playful, escapist side, who makes her wonder what it'd be like to run away with you, just for a little while. Picture this. You're sitting next to her at some rooftop bar, the city lights glowing. Below, you're swapping stories, and then you lean back, your gaze drifting to the skyline. You smirk and say, "You know, if we ever ended up in Paris, I guarantee we'd get kicked out of every place we visit." She laughs, eyes lighting up. And just like that, you've planted the seed of adventure. She's no longer in that bar. She's in Paris with you. Picturing cobblestone streets, moonlit dinners, maybe even wild nights that push her out of her comfort zone. You've taken her somewhere else without even leaving your seat. This is what I call being the creator of worlds. It's playful. It's light. But it's powerful because it taps into her craving for novelty, for a life that feels bigger, fuller, and slightly out of control in the best way. Most guys stay stuck in the moment. They focus on impressing her with facts, logic, or achievements. But you'll do something different. You'll speak in what-ifs and imagine. You'll make her laugh at crazy, impossible scenarios, and in doing so, you'll unlock her most hidden fantasies. Let's take it a step further. You're texting late at night. Instead of the usual WID messages, you send, "If we were stranded on a deserted island right now, who do you think would go insane first, you or me?" It's playful. It's ridiculous. But it opens the door to a back and forth where she's suddenly imagining herself with you, isolated, playful, and completely outside the normal world. Here's the key. You're not trying to be serious. You're not demanding anything. You're inviting her to play. And in doing so, you're giving her the ultimate gift. Emotional freedom. So here's your practical move. Next time you're chatting with her, drop a playful hypothetical. Make it just absurd enough to spark her curiosity, but leave space for her to add her twist, because the men who make women laugh in the present are forgotten. But the men who make them dream about the future, they stay in her fantasies forever. There's a secret power in showing your cracks, the parts of yourself that don't fit the perfect image, the flaws you usually hide. Most men think vulnerability is weakness. But here's a truth most never hear. It's the emotional edge that draws her in, makes her see you as real. And that realness sparks fantasies of depth, complexity, and connection she can't resist. Imagine you're sitting in a quiet corner, telling her a story from your past. Not the highlight reel, The part where things went sideways, where you screwed up or felt lost. You don't drown in regret. You don't get bitter or self-pitying. Instead, you share it with a hint of a smirk, like you're telling her a secret only a few get to hear. She's watching you. Not just listening, but watching, as if she's glimpsing a side of you no one else sees. That moment, when you let the guard down, it hits her somewhere deep. She starts weaving images in her mind. The vulnerable moments that make you human. The inner battles that shaped you. The ambitions that drive you forward despite it all. Most guys hide this part of themselves, fearing it'll push her away. But the irony? It pulls her closer. It taps into her nurturing fantasies. That feeling of wanting to support, to heal, to be the one who sees the man beneath the mask. Here's a scene. You talk about a dream you had, one you didn't chase because you weren't ready. You say it with a little regret, then flash a confident grin and say, "But I'm working on it." She smiles back, drawn in by the mix of honesty and determination. That contrast between your flaws and your drive creates tension, emotional tension. It's real, it's compelling, and it's the kind of thing she remembers late at night when she's replaying moments in her head. So here's the move. Next time you talk about your past, share one small regret or failure. But don't wallow. Smirk, own it, and show how you've grown from it. Because men who are willing to be a little raw, who show their edges without fear, are the ones women fantasize about. The ones who feel worth investing in. The ones who stay in her mind long after the conversation ends. This is the grand finale. The secret weapon you use once you've mastered all the other triggers. It's simple but brutal. Leave her wanting more. Not just physically, but emotionally and mentally too. This is where you turn from a fleeting encounter into a lasting presence in her thoughts. Think about the last time you left someone wanting more. Maybe a conversation ended just as it was getting good. Maybe you pulled away from a lingering hug before it felt comfortable. Maybe you smiled and said goodbye first, instead of waiting for her to do it. That feeling, the one where she's left wondering what just happened, that's gold. Women replay moments like this over and over. They analyze every look, every word, every pause. And if you've mastered mystery, protection, mirroring, allure, imagination, and emotional depth, then this pull of unfinished business becomes magnetic. Picture a moment where you're talking and the tension builds. You can feel it. She can feel it. Then, just as the moment peaks, you pull away. Gently, a small smile, a lingering look that says, "This isn't over." You don't rush. You don't beg. You simply step back. Her mind races after you. She wonders when she'll see you again, what you were really thinking, what might happen next. That suspense? That emotional cliffhanger? It's addictive. Most men don't have the confidence to end things first. They hang around. They over-explain. They try to control the narrative. But you're different. You know the power of withholding. You know the power of absence. Here's the practical step. Learn to exit conversations before they die. End on a high note. Smile. Make eye contact. Say something that hints at the future, then leave. Because when you leave her wanting more, you're no longer just a guy she met. You're the man she can't stop thinking about. You're the story she tells herself when she's alone. The possibility she keeps alive in her mind. The fantasy that lingers long after you're gone. And that, more than anything else, is the ultimate power you can have. Remember this. Say less, reveal slowly, let her wonder. Lead, protect, and decide when it counts. Match her vibe, then deepen it. Play with teasing tension, lean into the unspoken. Tell playful, wild stories, spark shared dreams. Show rare glimpses of your inner world. Always exit on a high. Stay just out of reach. Master these, and you'll tap into her emotional fantasies like no one else. You're not just another guy in the room. You're the guy she can't forget.